coming from a family with not a whole lot of financial means, I had to get creative to support my habits. And that turned the drug aspect, instead of, me going and buying drugs, I would buy bulk so that I could give them to my friends or sell them to my friends and get mine for free. And then that turned into, more of a money-making plan, and then that turned into an actual business, and then that turned into a big business, to the point that I was importing drugs from out of the country. I had my own plane. I 13 homes, Land Cruiser, Mercedes, Harley Davidsons, boat, but it was just never enough. It just kept going and going and going. I could sense that things were gonna go bad for me, but I wouldn't stop. I asked myself, I'm gonna stop when? When am I gonna stop? I'll stop when I get engaged. I'll stop when I get married. I'll stop when we get pregnant with a child. I'll stop when I have a child. And then I just realized that I wasn't gonna stop, that it was just gonna keep going. And I remember one day finally just looking in the mirror and just saying, I'll stop when I get caught. It was December 6th at 6:04, 2001. The doorbell rang, and I looked up and I said, it's time, isn't it? And God spoke to me very clearly. Yes, it's time. At that point, I heard dogs barking. I heard people yelling out in the front yard, yelling commands. I got out of bed and walked over to the window in my upstairs office, at-home office, and looked out, and as far as I could see, there was red lights, blue lights, FBI, DEA, IRS, Jack's Beach, SWAT team, everybody. Right before I was taken downtown, I remember looking up and seeing my dad just blazing down the street, pull straight up into the front yard, and he's 6'3", 280, about as big as a doggone doorway, and just comes in, just knocking federal agents over, and runs up to me and hugs my neck and says in my ear, "I love you, son. What do I need to do for you?" I think that was the first time that I saw the love of Jesus modeled through my father's action. And this didn't mean that, what I was facing was gonna go away. This didn't mean that I wasn't gonna have to, to accept responsibility for what I'd done, and pay the price for it. But it wasn't that my dad was trying to get me out of trouble, but he was just letting me know that he loved me with no judgment and with no predisposition of anything. He just wanted me to know that he loved me and that he was going to be there with me. And that's, in my opinion, kind of how Jesus does things. Certainly we get delivered from time to time, but most often it's been my experience that, when I mess up, I still get to deal with the mess up. The difference is, today that I have Jesus with me. I couldn't get enough of the Word. I read like 56 books. I completed a 2-year degree from Kenneth Hagin's Rhema Bible College. I started teaching in the chapel. What God really dealt with me was the complete transformation of how I viewed myself and who I was in Christ, who I actually was in Christ versus who I actually believed I was. I still thought I was a washed up, convicted felon, drug dealer, and he was really, really at work hard. My walk with the Lord, it just began to change because the religion kind of started to wash out and the relationship started to wash in. It's like I started to see things in my life that, it wasn't before I looked at it, it was like, I got to give this up. I can't do that. I can't do this. It quickly became, I don't want to do that anymore. It doesn't make God happy, and I have a relationship now. That was a huge, huge milestone for me. Transformation that he's worked on me over the years with is what has made our relationship so real. The time that he's taken to produce what he produced in me, to raise the talents and gifts that he gave me that I never used for his glory but used for my own personal gain. Now I get to actually operate in those gifts and talents for the cause and purpose that they were. And this is something that God he's partnered with me. He's made it so real through the process, and just as Ephesians 1 says, he's enlightened the eyes of my understanding in a way that I never imagined.